in the women's rugby calendar. We've had 18 fascinating rounds this season, but this is the business end. What's gone before doesn't matter. 80 minutes to make history and to have ourselves a first-time Premier 15s finalist. Tatty Unheard running the kick-off back into a blue defensive line. And it's Hunt who has it now, fizzes it back into the pocket. And Flaky George hoists it high. An early question being asked at full-back, Ella Lovibond. She's met on the halfway line. And now Bevan, Hunt's opposite number. England up against Wales in the scrum half department this afternoon. It's the 8th time we've seen Bevan and Snowsill alongside one another. Country mates, club mates. Trading the 3 feathers for Bears on their jerseys this afternoon. Patient play from Dave Ward's outfit. Their ball retention is a sight to behold. They will run and run all day, never mind what the weather says. Here now is Butchers. A human tin opener of a rugby player, handily returned in time for the biggest games of the season. What a shot that was. Maud Muir thumping into Simi Pam.
No, thank you.
Now Snowsill finds Byrne right in the centre of the field. Started as a centre, of course, did the prop, then moved into the back row, now finds herself in the front row, but centre is her spirit animal, she claims. And ball in hand, there are few better. Although speaking of carriers, Renita Marston, the only player in this league to have broken 200 for the season, and that with a month-long ban. Well, we've had 2 minutes already, and Bristol Bears have made precisely 0 territory. Gloucester Hartpury flying up. Hunt there leading by example, 2 hits in quick succession. Asking questions of the visitors.
Use Kira! Let's go! Zoe onside.
And at last, their patience wears thin. They put boot to ball. It's half charged down. Hurd finds Monaghan. This now is Lewis. And now Alex Matthews, nominated for World Player of the Year in the autumn. An absolute barnstorming flanker. Width now. Sarah Beckett puts her feet down, frees her hand. Mia Vedder back inside to Beckett. And it's the start that Gloucester Hartpury will have dreamed of. But moments on the clock, and they are reminding Bristol just why it is that they finished top of the log this season.
I mean, it's exactly what we thought was going to happen. 3 minutes, the ball has stayed in play. Started with Bristol, they moved the ball, everything that we've come to expect, trying to probe. But Gloucester don't have the best defensive record in the league for no reason. And they did exactly as good defensive teams do. Just kept chopping them, kept making the tackles. And as you see here, kick charge down, and then it's going to work, isn't it? Hurd keeps the ball alive. Some really good interplay. You know how dangerous Alex Matthews is. And once they've got them numbers, they've got what, a 5-on-3? It's just about good skills here. Flaky George fizzes that pass, and you know, Sarah Beckett again behind the tackle, getting her hands free and links up. For me, it's a beautiful try, and it's almost Gloucester showing Bristol at their own game.
A 9th try of the season for Sarah Beckett. And now over to Emma Singh to add to her own formidable points tally. This to bring up the century.
Reece, can I check the last pass on?
And there it goes, 100 points for the year for last year's Golden Boot recipient. She's gunning for a second. Well, we're just going back to take a peek at one of the passes in the build-up to that one.
Box kicks quick. Yeah, players are coming in, slow it down.
But it's been cleared.
Yeah, Reece, move on. Thank you.
On we go. 7-0, Gloucester Hartpury. Flying from the blocks in their own backyard. The stadium, of course, where we will have the Premier final in just a fortnight's time. And it's Beckett again at the heart of everything good for Gloucester Hartpury. signed for the club over the summer from Harlequins. And Sean Lynn told me this week just how crucial she's been, the only member of this Gloucester Hartpury outfit to have been in a Premier 15 semi-final. Of course, she won the league with Quins a couple of years ago, and she has been instrumental in their preparations. Here is Lovibond. A sparkling, dancing fullback in the thick of her final year university exams, but I doubt the pressure of them is anything compared to what she'll be met with out there today. Marston places it backwards, and Bevan with a speculative chip. It's poured to the ground by George, but she's got plenty of time to regather and return it with interest. We talked pre-match about the kicking game of Gloucester Hartpury, but what you don't want to do is give Bears an opportunity to counter-attack. No one does it better. And now here is Murray and Wills. The Olympian, the sevens flyer, on loan from Worcester Warriors, and with 5 tries in as many appearances in the blue shirts of Bristol. Delaney Burns, on her 19th appearance of the campaign, hasn't missed a game. The young look forward.
Tackle!
Zoe Aldcroft slowing the ball up, holding the ball up. And again, just look at the width that Bristol are being forced to play with. It's loose. I'll have that, says Hurd. Pops it back. Hunt chips it on to her co-captain, Aldcroft. And again they go. It was 1 shot, 1 kill last time from the Cherry and Whites. Ruthless efficiency with ball in hand. But now it's a tricksy little grubber from George, brilliantly kept in by Lovibond. Rugman dashes onto it, gets a foot to the ball to dribble and turn from one of the props. Sarah Beckett had a go at some footballing skills. Bristol get away with it.
And all we're seeing is a masterclass in the kicking game. We saw an earlier kick there from Natasha Hunt. I mean, the defensive work again, Natasha Hunt on an edge here we're seeing, and then this kick here from Claky George. This for me could be the difference between these two sides, because all it's doing, it's forcing the Bears deep inside their half. We know they want to play a running game, but it's a long way to go in this heat to go 80, 90 metres when a team continue to keep knocking you down.
Sean Lynn said this week that as part of their preparations, Gloucester Hartpury had discussed the fact that things would go wrong this weekend, and it's about the team that can problem solve the quickest. But how much longer do Bears just attempt to truck it up?
I think what's going to be fascinating, Clay, is because the Bears have played in such a way all season, is how quickly, if they are going to change, trying to get people on the same wavelength. So it's great if you want to impose a kicking game. We know Else Nosdale can kick, we know Amber Reid can kick, we know Kira Bervin can kick, but it's about the chase, and it's about connecting those dots, and that for me is going to be interesting to see. Can they kick, but also can they get good pressurised chase against what we know is a really good tactical side in Gloucester.
Bind!
And speaking of pressure, it's about time to apply some across the muscular shoulders of Maud Muir, Kelsey Jones and Laura Delgado, and those of Simi Pam, Lark Davies and Sarah Byrne. Gloucester Hartpury have the 5th best scrum in the league, and Bristol Bears the 2nd. We know this will be a battleground.
Crouch! Bind!
Tight to that touchline.
Set!
So the Cherry and White spreads towards Argantry. Claky George lies in wait. There's the advantage. They've an insurance policy here to bang the big red entertainment button and see what they can do. And here goes Rachel Lund. Dancing footwork and meaty shoulders to go with it. George opts to go it alone. Chicken wing offload, finds Monaghan. Ball finds no one.
Okay.
Still playing with the advantage though, so we will come back.
That scrum was always going to be interesting. First one of the game, wasn't it? You know, both have got a good scrum. Gloucester Hartpury operating at about 89%, Bristol at 94%. And like you said, those front rows know each other very, very well. They will have played internationally together and have played regularly against each other at clubs. So that's definitely one up for Gloucester Hartpury there.
And they're one up in the penalty count as well. And no surprises, it's buried deep in the corner. Bristol Bears love scoring a line-out try, but they are not good at defending them. They've conceded 39 of these over the course of the campaign. So Cherry and Whites have done their homework, but the drills have to go according to plan, and that one doesn't. Claire Malloy,
Faster, play on.
as she so often is, the quickest to react.
Play on, first player.
It's a ferocious counter-up from Alex Matthews, and Delaney Burns tackled. Splats down on the 4G of Kingsholm.
Stay.
Here is Davies. Grabs a couple of crucial extra yards.
Mo,
Bit more
stop, Mo.
space here for Snowsill
Thank
to
you.
clear.
It's a good exit from El Snowsill there, you know. Game's getting a little bit loose, isn't it? And you talked about it earlier, about which teams adapt quickly, and I think Gloucester, Hartpury are definitely probably on top at the moment, but that drill's got to go at the line out, it's got to go to hand, and a couple of loose offloads. When you're in the 22, you just need to retain the ball and make Bristol defend. So I think probably both sides will just want to kind of take a bit of the edge out of the game and just try and get a settle
Bristol line
now.
out, Catherine. Play on, you've got the ball.
Well, that's 0 from 2 for Kelsey Jones. Darts going astray all over the place. Bristol Bears just being gifted opportunities to exit here. Fabulous line speed. Voracious from Mia Venner. The young Hartpury University students doing brilliantly to keep the likes of Lisa Neumann on the bench for Gloucester Hartpury. Emma Singh gets away with one there. Chases her own. And it's Sarah Byrne in the backfield. Left to hoover that one up. Not that she'll mind any chance to stretch her legs. Butchers now. Meets George with a thump.
She's got to move.
It's Davies playing scrum half. And now Simi Pam.
On.
Hacked away by Bevan.
Gloucester.
Dealt with better by Singh, but it bounces hard into the Welsh scrum half and out into touch.
Yeah, Emma Singh was definitely looking from up here in the commentary box. That initial kick from Kira Bevan and drop from Emma Singh was forward. But I think, like we said, Bristol have started to adapt now. We're seeing Kira Bevan put their box kicks in. But like I said, she needs to connect with those wingers to really put that chase in, because there's a lot of backfield for Emma Singh to hit if she doesn't hit Kira Bevan in that instance.
Space. We're both stepping in to keep the gap as we agreed pre-match. Let's go again, please.
Sorry, I didn't send you what the thing was.
Do it twice.
Yeah.
Space, Gloucester. Bristol on the line.
Well, it's been a nervy start at line-out time for the hosts. It is an area that's creaked for them over the course of the season. And with Abby Ward, of course, now stepping into more of a coaching role at Bristol Bears, there's line-out acumen coming out of their ears.
Stay.
That one's safer, though.
Contact.
Sam Monaghan picked out right at the top. And the ball brought down safely. Down the blind side they go. Hunt feeds Rugman. Last year's top try scorer and right in the mix for the gong again this year. Mortmuir! A beaming bowling ball in space. And just look at those Bristolian skittle scatter. Beckett. Now the crowd are getting into this. There's a drum in the stands below us, and every time Gloucester Hartpury get their hands on the ball, it is ringing out. Hurds.
Move.
Comes into the granity shoulders of Malloy. Oh, and a fine line from Aldcroft. Quick ball here, Hunt. Finds Muir, they need options on the right here. Around comes George, but back the other way they go. Aldcroft opts to duck into the tackle of Byrne. Can't say I blame her.
Mo. Okay.
Up she goes. A tester for Lovibond. Diffuses it nicely. Here is Wills on the wing. Well read by Rugman. Winger meeting winger. Fire and brimstone. Lark Davies.
Okay, stop you two.
And a lovely little dummy from El Snowsill. Devilish handiwork. Here comes Singh. That trademark mazy footwork. Scything run into the Bristol defensive line. Jones to George. Just knocked on by Beckett.
2 knock-ons. First off, Gloucester.
I mean, what an opening 14 minutes we've just got to see. Gloucester obviously only 7-0 up, but I mean, the majority of our rugby has been played deep inside Bristol's half, hasn't it? And as we look here, Elle Snowsill, what a lovely bit of play. She looks under so much pressure, and to have the, I suppose, the composure to not go into Alex Matthews or Natasha Hunt and just bring that ball back in is very impressive. We are seeing a bit more kicking from Bristol, and I think in this instance Sarah Beckett is holding that edge really well for Gloucester. You know, big ball carrying A, and they're trying to obviously get her away against Bristol's wingers, and it's working for them. If she catches that, there's a 3-on-1 on that edge.
Well, we've had a look at a Gloucester Hartpury scrum. Here's one for the Bears. As you can see, they are pretty red hot in this department. But this time is no exception. Holly Cunningham absolutely loving that as she rises from the wreckage.
Maud Muir there being pinged, I suppose, saying she's walking around the corners. The call from a referee. For all intents and purposes, from a back, it looked like Gloucester had all dominance there.
Other side, must go straight.
Well, by hook or by crook, Bristol have managed to get themselves out of their half.
Yes, she's on them, but you must stay
It's their
straight,
first
please.
visit in some time.
Open up.
And a first look at the most accurate line-out thrower in the league. And its top try scorer. Not if Zoe Allcroft has anything to say about it. But again, discipline just costing Gloucester Hartpury. They watched a lot of tape of Alex Thomas in the week with just that area, the breakdown in mind, but an early show perhaps that they're on the wrong side.
Yeah, and you've got, I'm sure Gloucester are feeling hard done by there. What looked like a dominant scrum, Alex Matthews gets up there. They've done a lot of work on Bristol's line out there, gets a really clean hand to it, but then in this instance they get done for holding on. So yeah, it's Bristol are marching them back.
Well, Lark Davies, missing a pair of line-outs in quick succession, is a hen's tooth, a collector's item, and she makes it very neatly there. This is the first time Bristol Bears have had ball in hand up this end of the field. And now the gears begin to grind. They have an advantage. They've a free shot here, but it might well be that they let the piano shifters do the work. No, Bristol do a Bristol, send it wide. Kick from Snowsill, mark called by Singh will come back.
I really like that. For me, I don't think we use enough of that advantage. We know the referee's going to come back. We know that Bristol are probably going to kick to the line out and go through that same process again. But just to have the bravery to think, you know what it is, I'm going to change the picture. I'm going to put something in mind for Emma Singh there. And in that case, she does a really good job getting up early. But I think it's a really smart move from Bristol just to use their penalty advantage.
Into the corner it goes. And there's only one way they are playing this one. No one puts a ball up a jumper quite like Lark Davies. It's not jumper weather. That won't put her on. Oh, but how about that for commentator's curse?
I'm sure Dave Ward's sitting there saying, why did you move that and why did you kick that crossfield kick? But I mean, it's a pressure of the situation. We talked about it at the beginning, didn't you? This is a semi-final. It is knockout rugby. And as we've seen from Gloucester, they went 0 from 2 in their opening line-out. Similar position. This time, we're used to Lark Davies, put them on the money. Claymore just gets one hand to that. Yeah, so it's maybe we're seeing a bit more of the pressure game starting to build.
Let's not forget, of course, this is Gloucester Hartpury's first visit to the semi-finals since 2018 when it was a home and away format, so this is a very unique situation for them, and for Bristol Bears it's only their second time right at the very summit of the Premier 15s.
Set! Use the ball.
Pressure does funny things to athletes, and you can see that in the fact that 3 of our opening 6 line-outs have gone awry. Well, Gloucester Hartpury opting to do a Bristol and carry this one out for the time being. George lurks in the dead ball area. But they're not ready quite yet to utilise that fine Welsh boot.
No. Don't climb over the rack.
Now they are.
Okay, Wiggins onside.
George fires up the engine, but there were definitely tiptoes on white paint there from Amy Coles. That's a fine exit.
That's a brilliant exit. Really, really smart play from Natasha Hunt. Looked like they were going to go on the first one. We're not going to see it on the replay, but she just takes another phase. And all that allows Gloucester to do is to build a bit of protection for Claky George in that instance. And for me, she was so close, wasn't she? But as all wingers, you've got to know where your feet are. You've got to know where that white line is. And for Gloucester, it's a great exit. Get the ball back on their 10.
They're coming up.
At last, one goes according to plan, and it is picture perfect double tops. Zoe Allcroft right at the tail of that one, and Sarah Beckett disdainfully bumping off Bristol defenders. She is a juggernaut in a jersey. It's so fun to watch her play. Sing though, just unable to keep hold of that one.
No advantage.
Yeah, Sarah Beckett just bumped Sarah Byrne, and if anybody who doesn't know Sarah Byrne, probably one of the biggest, most agile props you will see. That does not happen that often.
The first item in the Beckett family Christmas card this year.
Indeed, and it's worth the replay, isn't it? Like, Sarah Byrne is a phenomenal defender, so that carry from Sarah Byrne, she literally just sits her down, is something that you don't see a lot in the women's game.
It's where the knockouts of the Premier 15s really come alive, because you are getting the very best players in both hemispheres going toe to toe. It's so intense.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Like you say, we talked about that front row, you know, Maud Muir, Sarah Byrne, Lark Dean, Kelsey Jones, international players that are now up against each other, and you just see the quality, because it's not just set piece, it's around the park, it's their ability to play.
Well, that's 2 penalties at the scrum for Bristol Bears, and they don't wait around. Ball though knocked on by Wills in the midfield.
No advantage, knocked on.
Is this a nervous start from both teams, Katie?
I think it's got to be, isn't it? I think at the moment, if we looked at the game, the forwards probably are getting a little bit frustrated. You know, we've got some amazing carries that we've touched on from the likes of Sarah Beckett in that instance, Alex Matthews. Scrum penalty again goes against Gloucester, and again they probably will want to, Shawnee will want to pick that. Bristol go quick, and I mean the passing is good, but in that instance Devon Wills just takes her eye off the ball. She's obviously looking about defenders, and I think you're right, Claire, it is a bit nervous. Probably both sides will really want it up there with ball retention, just to allow them to build pressure and to start executing the space that they're starting to that they're creating out wide.
Crouch!
3 penalties already at scrum time.
Bind! Set!
The vice tightens. In it pops.
Use the ball.
Out it comes. And George shapes to kick. Very well dodged by the referee. It's right into the backfield. Coles pops it on to Loverbond. Ball in 2 hands. Well met by Muir, who is swiftly to her feet. Double hit.
Thank you.
We saw plenty of double shots on Bristol players by Saracens. Not committing players to the breakdown, but going hunting up high, making sure they can't offload, as is their want. But oh, here we go, Claky George, running like a centre in that 10 jersey. And her compatriot Lewis, the silent assassin of this Gloucester Hartpury team, Sean Lynn told me. Flankers rolling up their sizable sleeves, getting the job done. Matthews, and now this is Maud Muir, interrogating the Bristol defence. It's a flat pass to Lewis. She's eventually brought to turf, but I'll tell you what, Gloucester Hartpury tails are up right now. Tatiana Hurd, fend like a piston. Over the ball though, Claire Malloy doing everything she can to disrupt. Red Rose to Red Rose, Hunt to Allcroft, and now George. It's the 3rd visit to the 22 for Gloucester Hartpury. Lovely hands from Muir. She has been everywhere. And a penalty in a very opportunistic position indeed.
what a pace of play from
Time's off,
Gloucester.
let's get some water on as well.
When they go and when they play, they are such a dangerous side. You know, you look at the Pier, it starts from Katie George in the backfield, she gets that line break again. They're just getting so much dominance, and from a lot of the speed of Mo Hunt's ball. Maud Muir again, big ball carry through the middle, and it's the amount of defenders that suck in from Bristol that really makes the difference here. You've got forwards tipping on in the middle, maybe a little bit risky. 3-4 tacklers having to bring Maud Muir down, and all that means is in different areas of the pitch, Bristol will be light. And for Gloucester, it's going to be about continuing to go through those phases, but also starting to capitalise. Like you say, third entry, they've only ever come away with 7 points. And as this game gets on and on, you've got to start taking more points. Sarah Beckett here, more ball carrying, offloading. And I think you look when you watch this try, it's very simple, but it's Gloucester at their best.
It really was an electric start. They've faltered slightly since. But once we get back underway here, they do have a penalty right on the cusp of the 22. What would you do with this penalty, Katie? Bearing in mind that Gloucester Hartpury don't have a great kicking record off the tee. They're 9th in the league for that. They're only kicking 50% of their goals, and this is knockout rugby. What do you do?
I think if you're Gloucester, especially the way your line out has operated early doors, it has been inconsistent. I think you've got to take the points, because ultimately what you want to do is you've got to build a score. It's only 7 points here. Bristol have had opportunities, they just didn't take them when they entered. So if that was me, and I wouldn't be surprised if they send Emma Singh towards the post and just keep taking it over. Well, we're 25 minutes in now. You're going to want a good couple of scores going into half time, because what we know is Bristol will play. They won't ever stop, and the longer you let them stay in the game, the harder that becomes.
Even if playing at the helter-skelter pace of Bristol Bears in 27 degrees does seem borderline masochistic.
Indeed, but it's great to watch, isn't it? When you talk about a spectacle and what you want from the game, this is what you want. Two of the best running rugby sides all season facing off, and I think we're as commentators and as fans are getting the rewards of that.
Absolutely, and that's why all the people here at Kingsholm have gathered here today. We know for a fact that well over 2,000 tickets were sold. They're pushing for a record attendance. Wouldn't be surprised if they had one. And one of the most important members of those watching on, Sean Lynn, head coach.
Not rolling.
Walkie-talkie in hand. Wonder what he's made of the first half. We'll be hearing from the Gloucester Hartpury camp shortly, so it'll be great to get their insight. They certainly haven't been receiving Katie Daly-McLean since they've gone straight to the corner.
Yeah, I know nothing.
She says, with a World Cup winners medal and 116 caps. That's better, that is safer, and that is heading in one direction. A whirling blonde ponytail. Alex Matthews, as ever, at the heart of that one. Well, we talk and talk about the running game of these two sides, the flair, the razzmatazz. But sometimes in rugby, there's just no substitute for a bit of hard graft. Only if your passes go to hand.
Yeah, I mean, again, maybe they should have gone to the post. But no, I think Bristol they had so many numbers, and the fact that referee has brought them back and not let them play advantage, I think they will be really frustrated about. But again, Gloucester's drill just not going to hand, and I'm sure when we speak to Sean Lynn, that will probably be one of his biggest frustrations. They are creating opportunities, but they are not taking the points on offer. And like we said, knockout rugby is all about that.
6 handling errors and counting from a side who pride themselves on good fundamentals.
And it's not just the handling errors, place, it's where they're happening, all inside Bristol's top 22, when you have try-scoring opportunities.
Okay, shoot the ball with stationary.
It's a chunky chug from the Gloucester Hartpury scrum, and Renita Marston cuddled hard by Mo Hunt, going nowhere quickly. Burns awaits. The latest Red Rose made her debut against Italy during the Six Nations. Same Six Nations where Kira Bevan, clearing there, made her 50th appearance. So much youth and talent.
Okay. All right.
And so much experience. But I do believe we're going to get some thoughts from the Gloucester Hartpury side of things. Sarah, who have you found pitch sides?
I have found one of the Gloucester Hartpury coaches, Dan Murphy, who's getting very excited beside me here, very animated. Dan, good to talk to you. The feeling in the stand is that, you guys have been pretty dominant in this opening 30. The score's not really reflecting that, is it?
No, we've been very impressed with our defensive efforts, and our attacking opportunities have come from those. We just need to be a bit more clinical when we've got those.
Same as you.
The clinical side of things, I mean, it's the first semi-final for the vast majority of your players, and nerves coming into it a little bit at the moment?
No, the messaging before the game was, this is 4 white lines, 2 sets of posts, 30 players having a game of rugby, and we've done that all year. That's been our messaging all year through. The fact that it's the semi-final adds that excitement, and that's what it is, excitement, it's not pressure.
Before I let you get back to your coaching duties, a quick comment on London Irish, because obviously a former player, they put you on your path, didn't they? I mean, as a former player, how are you feeling about the news this week?
Devastated. Like, it's a club who gave me my opportunity and got me into rugby, and I've got so many friends and lifelong memories of that place, and this week has been, my wife and I started there, and it's just devastating. It's really tough to see, and yeah, it's terrible.
It is hard to find words at the moment, isn't it? It is difficult. Dan, we'll let you get back to it. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thanks. End 5.
Dan Murphy, normally such an effervescent presence in that Gloucester Hartpury camp. You can really hear in his voice there the difficult week the whole rugby community have had. The thoughts are with all those affected. But back to this. Back to the semi-finals of the Premier 15s, where the table toppers have a chance now to stretch their lead. They've been stymied now for 25 minutes by a Bristol Bears outfit who've laughed all week at the tag of underdogs, but are really proving resilient today. Another penalty though. That's 3 in quick succession for Gloucester Hartpury.
No doubt Natasha Hunt is in the referee's ear there, telling them exactly that.
She is.
As we can see, just making sure everybody's aware of what's going on there. But like you say, 3 penalties, all at line out. Again though, Gloucester potentially got to change a picture here, because this outlet isn't working for them at the moment.
Just hold her a second.
Gloucester Hartpury season has been fascinating because they flew out of the Brox, defeating Exeter Chiefs down at Sandy Park, which nobody does, and then they went 10 unbeaten before Saracens beat them. And then actually it was up against your side, Katie, where your performance director at Sale Sharks, where they really struggled. Sean Lynn said that they needed a test towards the business end of the season. They needed to learn what it was like to come up against adversity. Well, they're coming up against it here, because Bristol Bears will not go away, but nor will this pack. It's brought down, and Kingsholm is brought to its feet. Patience comes good for Gloucester Hartpury. They have their second, they needed it, and it's Kelsey Jones who rises with the ball. Her 9th of the season.
Yeah, they really did it. And I mean, it's been coming, hasn't it? You know, it's Gloucester have gone to that line out when, in my opinion, they probably had opportunity to kick easy points. You can see here, I think Bristol do a really good job of really trying to stop that and halt it, but they get a little shift. It looks like it comes down short, and like you say, it's Kelsey Jones who dots over in a really good position, as all hookers are, nicely tucked in to the back, and you think she's going to be short, but actually she's just in a really good position, tucked in behind those forwards who've worked really, really hard.
At this stage, who do you reckon is happier with a scoreline of 12-0? Because all the territory, all the possession has been in favour of the hosts, but I wonder if they feel like they should have a better return.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure Sean Lynn's probably a little bit disappointed with that scoreline. I think this makes it look slightly better, doesn't it? But I mean, Bristol's defensive effort has been phenomenal. I mean, we've got the stats up here, haven't we? The percentage is pretty similar, isn't it? 50% in terms of territory. So, I mean, sorry, what a kick from Emma Singh. Pause just as you watch it. She's got such a lovely, effortless strike. And 14-0 if you're Gloucester is a much better score given the amount of opportunities you've had.
Right, she is such a languid striker of a rugby ball. That was poetry in motion. Brings up 14, and here's how that second score came about. Another fine touchline conversion from a women's rugby player. Feels like we have seen so many of them since eyebrows were raised during the Six Nations at the suggestion that they take them from slightly closer in. Well, Gloucester Hartpury, 2 scores, both converted. Bristol Bears yet to debagel themselves in this semi-final, as Laura Delgado is next to add a couple of yards. Delgado, former Spanish captain, whose mum has flown in just for this game. I met her earlier in a coffee shop. She was so excited. As a rugman snags Loverbond, brings the full-back down.
Backwards.
Just knocked on by Bears. Handling errors from both sides, really uncharacteristic.
It really is, but again, it's this kicking game for me. Bristol are losing the territory battle in this instance, aren't they? They're going backwards. Good defence by Gloucester, and that's when you need one of your playmakers, your organisers, the likes of El Snowzil, Kira Bevan at 9 or Amber Reid at 12, who have that kicking game just to say, look, we're going to go, send that ball and we're going to go defence because our defence is good.
That's fine, no, fine. Okay, let's go, knock on, scrum.
Oh, it certainly is good. Look at how many tackles Bristol have had to make, but also look at how many they've missed.
Yeah, and I think probably that is the difference, isn't it? If you look at that, that stat is pretty much the game, isn't it? The possession has been shared. It's, what, 52% to Gloucester, 48% Bristol. For me, it's where Gloucester have had a lot of their possession. It's been in Bristol's half. But, I mean, this game it can go either way right now. We're not sitting here going, I think Gloucester have definitely got that, because one score and the game completely changes. But I think for me, going into half-time, Bristol really need to identify how they stop playing in their half and start turning the pressure onto Gloucester.
And we know that this is a Bears outfit capable of conjuring something out of nothing. They can score from anywhere at any time. Fearless, unbelievable attack is what got them to this stage, Dave Ward said this week. They're not going to go into their shells now. But now it's their time to defend. Lund dragged into touch just on the cusp of the 22.
Really good D by Amber Reid there. Looked like she'd given the outside to Rachel Lund, and we know how quick Rachel Lund can be there. Mo Hunt again tries to sell the dummy, but it's just really smart play. They go lateral, and she just uses that touchline to help. And again, just another example of Gloucester Hartpury giving possession to Bristol when they could be building momentum.
This is the Corso when Gloucester Hartpury are at their most lethal, and when Bristol Bears are at their most porous. So the hosts want to make this count. Can't do anything without the ball, and it's Bears who have it now. That maul though going nowhere quickly, so Bevan opts to have a snipe, ducks underneath Lewis, but Hunt reads it well. Bevan though doesn't want to release it to get her feet go again. She is small, but she packs a punch, and so too does Butchers, back ahead of schedule from that ACL rupture. Takes a moment to get to her feet, but there she is. And again, Bevan with a key intervention.
Agreed.
Alex Matthews just getting on the wrong side of the offside line and of the referee.
Yeah, but again, it's, for me, Bristol get themselves into problems, but then, because they're so evasive and they've got such quality in the likes of El Snowzil, they just get themselves out again, you know, look like she's going to get charged down. Again, really smart plays a fly half. You can't underestimate that skill under pressure to be able to say, no, I'm just going to use my footwork. She buys herself some time. Cheap penalty, I suppose, from Alex Matthews. Did think that ball was out, but probably second instance, actually, it's not. And Bristol get an opportunity to get into Gloucester's half and hopefully try and build something.
The Bears were running their line-out drills in the car park earlier here at Kingsholm. Not that it's helped them much today. Neither side getting any change from this particular set piece.
They're really not, and it's a difficult time. I think watching that one, because we're in a really great position up here, is just the movement of Gloucester Hartpury's forwards there. They match that Bristol line out, and for Lark Davies it must be pretty daunting as a hooker when you know where you're going, but you also know the opposition seem to be in that place as well.
Sam Monaghan is 6 foot tall. Zoe Allcroft can't be far off that. They've both also got go-go gadget arms. They seem to just have telescopic limbs and incredible rugby smarts.
Yeah, you've probably got two of the most savviest line-out operators potentially in the world. Sam Monaghan's done it a long time for Ireland, Zoe Allcroft for England. So yeah, they're people who know the game, and like you say, it's not just about their physical ability, it's the mental smarts that they have when it comes to this area.
Set!
Right, time to park the smarts and let the muscle do the talking, and this time, as you can hear from the drum below us, it goes the way of the King's home side. 3 minutes left. Gloucester Hartpury looking for a third. Bristol will really want to open their account before they head to the sheds.
Yeah, they really will. They need to get some points on that board. But again, what a big kick that is from Cleiki Judd. Probably a good 40 metres there. And again, just puts Bristol deep. Gloucester, however, as we know, line-out hasn't been their strength. Can they again try and make this operate and ultimately try and make this a 3-score game before half-time?
It's pretty still here at King's home, so there's not too much wind to take into consideration.
I did wonder what you were doing when you put your finger in the air. I wasn't sure if you were waving it at somebody, but no, it is. It's deadly still, isn't it? It's a brilliant game, and you know, it's kind of, the sun's gone down, it's got a bit cooler as well, so the weather will suit both teams.
You'll notice there's a name on the back of Kelsey Jones's shirt. That's a special touch for today. Gloucester Hartpury pulling out all the stops. The girls have their names on their jerseys. And a final on the line. And speaking of lines, how about that one from Sarah Beckett? Direct, thunderous, slamming into blue jerseys. Allscroft, next have a go. Now Lewis, ball's loose. Snowhill has it, skims one, skims two. Eventually brought down, but Malloy is there to help her mate out. Barge over the top. And now Burns. Ooh, leg drive. Exit on her mind. Bevan barking orders.
Thumbs off, scrub.
Just calling time off.
Got a head injury.
Got a head injury to one of the Bristol players. And that will be of some concern because Sarah Byrne is absolutely essential to Dave Ward's plans.
Yeah, she is such a vital linchpin in Bristol's kind of team, isn't she? You know, we know her from her scrummaging, but actually anybody who will have watched the women's Prem or even internationally, Sarah Byrne is known for her carry game, her run game. She's a prop that wants to hover in that 5-metre channel, and to be honest, she has the skill set to do that. You know, great acceleration, great footwork, and then just a power and pace to really, I suppose, frighten wingers. Definitely frighten me playing against her.
She is just brilliant. A human cheat code. Had a tough time with injuries, of course, a couple of seasons ago, but she's now back to her barnstorming best.
She really is, you know, she's still really young, it is Sarah Byrne. I think people assume that she's older because she's been around for a long time, but it's just the other thing. She's worked really hard on her set pieces at forward, you know, propping that scrummaging aspect being very important to her. But I think it's, like I said, it's what she brings around the park. It's that ability. I think people assume that when you look at props, all they're going to do is carry, but Sarah Byrne has amazing footwork. She's very evasive, but she also has a very good handling and offload game, and it's crucial to Bristol going further today.
Nikki, can you hear me?
Speaking to Dave Ward in the week, he has challenged Simi Pam to try and get a Player of the Match award without touching the ball once, because he wants to encourage her to park that brilliant carrying ability and develop the dark arts of being an out-and-out prop. But you wouldn't dare on an occasion like this tell her to do anything other than what is in her DNA.
No, I think Simi Pam's an interesting one. Again, when you look at the women's game, she's probably one of them names that people would assume has been capped. She hasn't yet for England been in extended squads, but that's as far. And when you speak to her, it is that kind of that scrummaging game that is really, really important. The dark arts, which Dave Ward will know from his playing days very well, and I think probably somebody that in a couple of years we will see on an England team sheet. Probably has gone away and worked really hard on that. You know, we're just watching some of the highlights there of the Zoe Allcroft's, the carry, how low she gets to the ball. But again, it's just that last pass, isn't it, from Gloucester at the moment? Their shape, their physicality, the way that they're playing. But for me, it is literally just that last moment that they're just making those enforced errors.
Crouch!
45 seconds to go. What can Bristol conjure up?
Stay high.
If they're to head in, something to show for the last 40 minutes. It's got to be now. Well, that's something already, an advantage. Hunt over the ball, looking to pickpocket Kira Bevan, but will come back for the penalty.
It's interesting, isn't it? Again, referee signal 1, which is Maud Muir in that instance, but it does feel a little bit tit for tat at the moment that neither team has really kind of got...
Number of penalties now at scrum time. I need an improvement at scrum, please. That was 1 not driving straight.
Sorry, just listen to the referee there. He's saying that
Race ready at fanatics.co.uk with official team products shipped right to your door. Fanatics.co.uk, officially licensed everything.
Oh, booking.com. I'm going to somewhere, anywhere. A beach house, a tree house. Honestly, I don't care. Somewhere, anywhere. A cozy cottage where I can ski. As if. Somewhere, anywhere. Like glamping, so I don't have to go outside to pee.
Find the perfect holiday home for you. Booking.com.
Yeah.
What do you say when your child asks, why me? When they won't use the stupid chair? When people say, it's not as good as normal tennis? What do you say when they're trying to win their 5th Wimbledon?
You will always find the words. We will always connect you. Always be there on Vodafone's reliable, award-winning network.
Has been human to serve.
They say you should try everything once. And they're right. As a fox of the world, I say you should try a Taiwanese meat cleaver massage. Skinny dipping. An endurance sport. But I'd probably skip trying a Carolina Reaper. That time's better spent discovering the unique taste of a refreshing old speckled hen.
I've been thinking, I want to plan my funeral so it feels more like a celebration. My parents always said I was born dancing. I just love it. Bhangra, disco, even line dancing. So when my time comes, I want to have music, dancing, the lot.
With over 150 years experience, you can count on Co-op Funeral Care to help you pre-plan the funeral you want. To find out more, visit us or give us a call. Co-op, it's what we do.
Welcome back to King's Home for the second half of the Allianz Premier 15 semi-final between Bristol Bears and Gloucester Hartpury. Well, certainly is good reading if you're a Gloucester Hartpury fan. They currently lead 14 points to 0. Unfortunately, the omens aren't great for the Bristol Bears because we have never seen an away winner in the semi-finals. So let's see how the second half is going to unfold. And I'll head you back to the commentary of Claire Thomas and World Cup winner Katie Daly-McLean. Take it away.
Well, Ugo, you're dead right. There has never been an away victory in a Prem 15 semi-final, but I'll tell you what, there have been some almighty comebacks by Bristol Bears outfits in the last couple of seasons. They were down 21-12 at half-time last year at Sandy Park against Exeter Chiefs and then went on to lead until the final few plays of the game. And recently they've had big comeback victories against Exeter Chiefs and against Harlequins. So Gloucester Hartpury are definitely in the driving seat of this big cherry and white tractor, but they won't be able to rest easy. They've got their work cut out if they are to make their first ever Premier 15s final. They had a visitor in the week, Jamie McDonald, better known as Adventure Man, and he talked to the girls about how to embody their inner superhero. Well, the rain stopped, so it's time for them to pop their brollies away, grab their capes, and do something very special. Speaking of which, with the ball now is one of the Premier 15's very own Wonder Women, Deb Wills. Back from having her first child and scoring pearlers for fun in a Bristol jersey. Here is Ronita Marston, back from that ban. Fresh legs.
You pinned her in, ball's there,
and all that trademark intent and belligerence. Down the blind side they go. Snowsill to Murray. Lovely dummy show and go, but not fooling Bethan Lewis. The Welsh Open side brings her down, and Bears are forced to reload. Byrne. And here is Snowsill, back against the grain. But Delgado combining with Muir to bring her down. Marston just goes and goes. A torpedo of a rugby player, and so too is Simi Pam. Bevan out to Snowsill, that Welsh playmaking axis. looking to find its feet that little bit more in this second half. Katie Dale in the clean alongside me, and we've been discussing kicking strategies in the break. Will Bears adapt? We know that no other side likes to run it as much as they do, but they might have to change things a little bit if they're to unlock this cherry and white defence. Snow still again, and we're up to a 14th phase. They are really racking them up. Patient play from Dave Ward's women, and now the chance to get it wide, but it's very well read. And Mo Hunt, the scrum half, a real defensive lead, popping up on the wing and stopping that one in its tracks. Bam! As though fired from a cannon.
No. Hands up, please.
Just the second visit to the 22 for Bears. They've got to make these count, yet to register a single point on the scoreboards. Dave Ward has been full of fighting talk this week. He says he's got the side to win the league, so why on earth not this year? They might have come here as underdogs, but 14 points can be gobbled up in a heartbeat. You've got the attacking weapons of this Bristol outfit. 20 phases.
Okay, attack on that 3.
Delgado drives Byrne backwards. The dancing feet of Kira Bevan. Pam's in at scrum half. This is Reed, the captain, leaving Hunt for dead. Lund reads it well, so too does Venner. Two of Gloucester Hartpury's flyers.
Choose one.
Getting their hands dirty defensively.
Backwards.
Bouncing ball, but goes backwards from Burns. Burns plural, that is. Here is Burns singular. Well, we've had 3.5 minutes of this second half. Bears have tiptoed into the 22, been driven backwards, 25 phases and counting. Katie's going to hand me a lozenge in a minute. Wills. Haven't seen her in space. She is devastating if she just gets room to move through the gears, but it's been smothering stuff from the hosts.
Backwards from me.
A pirouette from Byrne, but she's enveloped by Lewis. Now some width, now some numbers on the wing. Coles scampers infield. 28 phases. The Sheds, just at the top of your picture, are absolutely loving this. Patience from the Bears. And granite-like defence from Gloucester Hartpury. The league leaders, the table toppers, who've had such a historic season already, but they are hungry for more history. And they're 35 minutes away from it, looking to punch their ticket to the big dance back here in a fortnight's time. Either Saracens or Chiefs await. But first, they've a Bears outfit with plenty left in the tank to deal with. A third visit to the 22. Gloucester Hartpury haven't had the ball in this second half, and 35 phases later, Katie, what did you make of that?
5 minutes they've just kept possession for, and I mean, it's really impressive, isn't it? You've got to give them a lot of credit to be able to hold that shape. You know, the likes of their forwards carried real. It started from inside their 22. It's a great break. So they make a lot of ground really early doors. Simi Palm, Lark Davies, Sarah Byrne, Rita Marsden making some fantastic carries and lines, and just the strength. But I mean, Gloucester just almost said, go on then, keep doing it, keep the ball, we will keep tackling you. And I'm glad Bristol got something at the end of that, a little reward, because they were at risks at time. There's a couple of passes that were starting to dip, and just think if you're going to keep the ball for that long, you probably need a better outcome, don't you?
Out of curiosity, which side of the ball is most tiring when there's phase play like that?
It's tough, isn't it? Especially for the girls that are carrying regularly. I think for the likes of Sarah Byrne, your bigger girls who've got to get off the ground, it probably is really tiring for them. For Gloucester, you would always argue that it's harder to defend because you've got to get up, you've got to get back. But Gloucester aren't competing at the breakdown, so they're just getting a nice line speed. We know that they're a good defensive side. So I think Gloucester will come out of that probably the happier side, that they've just defended for 5 minutes 15, not conceded any points, and let Gloucester just build their let Bristol, build their phases.
Well, I jinxed this magnificently in the first half, but this is a Lark Davies special. This is the Red Rose Hookers party trick. She's amassed 21 tries this season, doing it so far. Safe as houses, Butchers brings it down. And here come Bristol, a blue wave building and inching closer and closer to the whitewash here at Kingsholm. The distance there, the ball is down. And Kingsholm all of a sudden feels a little bit under siege. Lark Davies with a 20 seconds of the campaign, and the gap is agonisingly narrow.
Yeah, I mean, it's just made it into a game now, hasn't it? We know Bristol needed to score first, and it did, like you say, by one of their trademarks, by Lark Davies, top try scorer in the season, something that they've done all well. They've thrown their centres into it. The likes of Amber Reid coming in to really add a bit of weight there, and it's that girl Lark Davies who goes over. But I think for me, that all came from their build-up play, didn't it? They kept the ball. They kept true to their principle, which is that we are going to run you, and they did, and they eventually got their rewards from it.
Lark Davies is up to 8 carries for her afternoon's work, 7 for Simi Pam, 8 for Sarah Byrne. Those are big numbers for front rowers.
They are, you know, the likelihood your front row only plays maybe 50 minutes here, so those girls probably know at some point they might get a bit of a rest, but the way Bristol play is huge, and those girls are massive. And you know, when you need another moment to keep your scoreboard ticking, up steps El Snowsill and slots it from the 5 metre line. It's Bristol are here to play on. Like we say, we know they can come back, and they're starting to prove that early doors in the second half.
30 to play, 7 points the difference. The table toppers up against a side who took a while to spark into life this season, but they've won 7 of their last 8, Bristol. And they are not short on self-belief. Pulses will be racing. The tension's just cranked up a notch here at Kingsholm. Snowsill delays the pass, opts to have a run herself, stretches her legs. She's got support from Butchers on the inside. But the 2 Welsh fly halves collide. Blakey George brings her down. Buys Gloucester Hartpury time to reset that defensive line. A hit from Kelsey Jones, hooker on hooker. She said, you can have that try, Davies, but let me rearrange your ribs briefly in response. Pam over the ball. Bevan to Snowsill. Here is Reid, the orange boots of Murray, but the line speed from Rugman forcing the error. Wills did well to pounce upon that, but how about that counter-ruck?
Knocking on me.
Ball's knocked on, we'll have a scrum, but yet again Katie Bears in possession, and Gloucester Hartpury's defence eating up meters.
And this is what's going to be really difficult for Bristol. When you're going forward and you're making line breaks, it's brilliant. But here, in this instance, Elle does a really good job. She identifies Natasha Hunt, flies out the line, and then just takes the running meters. But I mean, they get up to halfway, and for me, that's when you need to look to kick, because fullbacks probably come up, wingers come up. They're in the line. You've got a lot of backfield space. Bears go through the hands again, and this is it's a great shot from Kelsey Jones, isn't it? For anybody who didn't see, she came outside in. She'd identified Lark Davies, and she just came and stopped her in the tracks, and just took all momentum out of Bristol's attack. And that was kind of the moment where they again started to march them back. You look again, we get a tackle stat here, missed tackles 26 by Gloucester, which is huge, because we know they're such a good defensive side. And I think Bristol for me have started the brighter side.
I love Kelsey Jones, because she's a real proponent of look good, play good. Gets a spray tan before all of her matches, and pairs the flutteriest of lashes with the granitiest of shoulders every time she steps onto a rugby field. An immaculate game day hair there too. Well, the scrum was quite the arm wrestle in the opening 40. 5 penalties at this particular set piece. An unchanged front rows in this second half.
Bind! Set!
Field position is Gloucester Hartpury's. Since the momentum right now might be with Bristol Bears.
Let's go again, please.
Yeah, I totally agree, Claire. I think they've definitely come out the brighter side first half. It'd be interesting to see what Dave Ward has said to them at that point, because we've just seen a real lift in tempo and intent of their carries, and Gloucester just look a little bit sluggish.
Well, hopefully we can get the thoughts of Mr. Ward in just a moment.
And on that, I mean, Gloucester have had to make 60 tackles in this second half alone.
60.
Okay. Let's go, quick reset, please.
That's 1 every 10 seconds.
I mean, that is huge, isn't it? In 10 minutes of play, the flip to what they were doing in this first half is huge.
Stay attached.
Well, it's cooled down a little bit here at Kingsholm. The rain seems to have drained a couple of degrees off the thermometer, which will be of some relief to the Gloucester Hartpury women, making a tackle every 10 seconds, and now getting to work.
Use the ball, Bristol!
16 muscular shoulders asking awfully big questions of one another. It's ball away cleanly, but Mia Venner take a bow for that tackle and for Wills for riding it. Bears just about keep hold of it, but how about that from the young Gloucester Hartpury winger? She burst onto the scene, capped by England at just 17 years old a few years ago, and she hasn't had a call-up to the Red Roses squad since, but she has been going great guns in a Gloucester Hartpury jersey this season. Now though, all eyes on Bears.
Okay, sure, yeah, thank you.
Are we about to witness another 35-phase War and Peace rugby effort? Not if Claire Malloy has anything to say about it. Ball cuffed up though. Hunt recycles it brilliantly. She's a big game player, Ismo Hunt. And little interventions like that will be essential if Gloucester Hartpury is to find themselves in that final. George, spot space. Dribbles it through and just about denied. A matter of inches from that corner flag.
Oh, the scrum. 22.
22.
Yeah, I shouldn't think. You got a ball? We need a ball.
Dave, hello. I would love to know what you said to the squad at half-time, given that you told me in the week your Instagram algorithm has been throwing last gasp sporting comebacks at you all week. How buoyed are you for the second half, and what have you made of it?
Yeah, look, we started well. Obviously, it's been great. I think, look, we haven't fired a shot in that first half. We had one opportunity, we didn't take it, and the second half now we're trying to get a few more, and we want to hold on to the ball like we've just seen with that 30 phases, probably a bit too much. But we've got to continue to do that. Continue to keep go forward. Force Gloucester to make some tackles. Make some tackles of our own. If we can on Tatiana Hurd here, that'd be nice.
That would be nice, but it's another.
And then exploit any opportunities we do get. You know, I think it's the war of attrition out there. Like you say, Tolstoy would have been proud of this one at the moment.
You've also said that fearless attack is what has got you to this semi-final stage, and that you wouldn't shy away from that. You wouldn't go into your shells on this big stage. Are you proud of the way that your team have continued to play true to their DNA?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's something that we've been working on all season. We've got a it's an attack that requires a massive amount of fitness. These girls putting through the gym, training week in, week out, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday night, some of them after a full shift at work, so they're ready for it. It's just about now, this next 26 minutes, can we go on to get another score and then possibly a third?
And just finally, Dave, before we let you go, Lot Davies, what a signing she has proven. How important is it to have a player of her pedigree in a game of this size?
Yeah, she's massive, isn't she, for us? She's just one of the standout hookers in the league and probably the world. And for her to come in this season at Loughborough and do such a fantastic job from Loughborough, it was incredible. And she's always going to be there or thereabouts. Because of her line-out throwing so accurate, she usually gets back by the back end of them as well.
Thanks for your time, Dave. Enjoy that second half.
No worries, thank you.
Well, from Davies to Kelsey Jones, cleanly down and away, and Tatiana Hurd, who's only just got her breath back from that barnstorming charge upfield. Straight in at the heart of this one. A couple of changes for Bristol Bears. Lisa Burgess has come on as scrum half. We've also got Meg Barwick on in the second row. Changes being made. Fresh legs, fresh lungs. Maybe some fresh ideas too, because 7's the gap. And this is knockout rugby. It's cards on the table time at Kingsholm. Ball knocked on.
Knocked on, scrum.
What did you make of what Dave Ward had to say there, Katie?
Didn't think it was coming, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, what you've got to admire about Dave is how much they've stuck to that Bristol way. You know, I definitely have maybe been a little bit critical of this game about not having that kicking game, but he said he really believes in those players, doesn't he? He knows they know the way they want to play and their DNA, I suppose, and actually it's starting to work for them. And I totally agree that Bristol didn't really fire a shot in that first half, but when they have, you know, going to something they know, Lark Davies, the driving line out, it's really starting to work for them. But again, we've just got to stop, for me, playing in this middle half of the pitch. We've got to get into the corners where that strength, they can utilise it.
We said that they learnt an awful lot from that opening 40 against Exeter in last year's semi-final. Didn't fire a shot then either, so it's history repeating itself. And it was an absolute blockbuster down in Devon. So if Bears can keep riding this sort of momentum, we could have a real grandstand finish.
And if you look at the stat change, it just flashed up on your screen a minute ago about metres made. I mean, Bears are now up to 322 as opposed to 256 from Gloucester, so their game is really starting to come alive.
Byrne adds a few more to her already sizable tally, and here is Gwenllian Pearce. Although, straight away she's turned over, and it's her Welsh teammate Kelsey Jones doing the honours.
Kelsey Jones has had some phenomenal impacts in this second half. You know, the big tackle on Lark Davies that we saw, that took the momentum out of Bristol's attack, and that turnover again, which just allows somebody with Claykie George's boot to really put Gloucester in good position and good attacking position.
On the outside of this line, mate, yeah? There's your mark. So clearly outside if they win.
Solid technique there, isn't it? She gets so low because she's such a strong woman. Once she's in that position, so difficult to move.
Stay that up.
And now that Pearce is on, between her and Kelsey Jones and Cecilia Tuapolotu, who's waiting on the bench for Gloucester Hartpury, it's a reunion of that Welsh front row who was so destructive all Six Nations long. Hurd finds herself in at first receiver, and as ever, making hay. She just terrorises defensive lines. And Gloucester Hartpury, for the first time in this second half, find themselves in the 22. Can they make it count? Can they find an efficiency they were lacking in the opening 40? This way and that. Maisie Craft from the base of the rock. From Hunt, Hurd out on the wing, balls out wide, passes forwards, lines fluffed yet again.
It's probably the brightest we've seen of Gloucester Hartpury, having the real positive carries, getting in behind, and then again, like you say, it's that final pass in this instance. I mean, it's tough. We are obviously on the other side. For me, it looks level, but obviously referee and Touchy are in line. And what's lovely about that is Rachel Lund has got nice and flat. In that instance, a bit too flat. But by getting flat, it allows Tatiana Hurd to push that ball and almost beat the defender. In this instance, it hasn't worked. But I mean, this is really interesting from the red zone, isn't it? Bears 2.3 per visit. Gloucester 1.6, and at the end, the 14 points have had 9 visits. And if you're Sean Lynn sitting in the stands, you've got to be really, really frustrated knowing that this is just a one-score game now.
Significantly down for both of them. They both average more than 3 points per visit. They have done all season long. I've said it before, pressure does funny things. Advantage to Bears. Rummaging for it is Lucy Burgess. Speculative chip over the top from Reed. Here goes Phoebe Murray, puts that foot to the floor, pins her ears back. It's an almighty foot race for the most important whitewash of their season. Murray's brought down. But that's a 50-metre gain for Bristol Bears, and here goes the Lady Burns.
On the body, not the ball.
Bristol Bears
Values.
baring their teeth, arch predators. If you just give them space to stretch their legs, and there is plenty of width here. Lovibond wills awaits, just juggles the ball. Will come back. There was an advantage being played.
What an amazing kick from Amber Reid. You called it speculative, but I call this well practiced. They knew exactly what they were doing. Perfect weight, great centre-ship point. And I think she could have just put her head down, pinned her ears back. It's almost like she gets to the 10 and realises how far she's got to go and slows down. But I mean, from Bristol, look at that. It's perfect on them, like doesn't break stride. And this for me is, we know what Bristol can do. We come back to that red zone entry. If you're going to have 9 visits from Gloucester, not take enough points, then Bristol, the side and the quality they have, they're going to come and do this to you, and we know what's coming.
Yeah, on you, perfect.
We absolutely do.
7, no more.
Mark Davies has the ball near the try line. There's a script to be followed here. And Bears, remember their lines, deliver them. The performance that could possibly level this one up. Well, here they come, steamrolling towards the try line. Well, Bristol Bears, I'll tell you what, they did not get the underdog memo. How about that? They're tearing up the form book. At this stage of the season, a seeding is just a number, and Mark Davies has made things awfully tasty at Kingsholm.
She really has, but for me, as a back, it all came from that Amber Reid kick, didn't it? And that break. It was, and then we know how dominant it didn't function in the first half, but it is so damaging when it does. And they just look like a different entity now. They look composed. They look like they've found their stride. And that, for me, from once that ball went in and Mark Davies found her jumper, you knew it was only going one place, and it looked like it was going over that try line.
Well, a big puff of the cheeks from Eleanor Snowsill. She knows the enormity of this. Denies by the uprights. How crucial could that prove?
If I'm honest, I don't think it will. I think there is a lot more scores in this game. But what a kick from El Snowsill. I thought she's been brilliant this second half. She's allowing those forwards to make real gain line. And she's just ticking Bristol along nicely. What a game we have on our hands.
Hands off. Yeah, get the player on, please. Let's go.
2 points in it. And here comes a player who on her day is worth plenty more than that. Cecilia Tuipulotti, the 19-year-old from Newport, comes from fine rugby stock. Her dad plays for Tonga, her cousin Carwyn plays for Scarlets, and you might have heard of her other cousin, Talupe Falatau. Well, she plays like a combination of all three. She's absolutely electric. And here she goes now hunting as Bears receive a deep kickoff and look to run it. A little switcheroo, goes loose, Picker Lewis blocks the ball, which just about escapes the hands of Coles. Forward pass, we'll have a scrum just on the 22.
Well, would have been holding on, but we're playing advantage anyway.
And what we look from Gloucester's perspective now, again, almost kind of Bristol of their own downfall. The thing you don't want to do when you've just scored points is make an error in your 22. That's the time where you need to be composed. If anything, you probably just need to get out and allow yourself the time to breathe. So Gloucester will be disappointed. Bristol, sorry, will be disappointed. I think you look at this possession stat, I mean, look at the difference. 87% the second half in comparison to 46 for Bristol. It just shows the flip, and I suppose the beauty of rugby, isn't it? How different two halves can really be.
Crouch!
Well, Pearce, Kelsey Jones and Tuipulotti are all on the field now, so there's a awfully Welsh feel to the scrum that we're about to see.
Use the ball, Gloucester!
Fine platform for Natasha Hunt. She delays it, floats it to George. Lovely line there from Lund. Quick rock speed, as is their way. Aldcroft, she has been everywhere this afternoon. George fizzes it wide. Singh meets Lovibond, whirling through the tackle, makes an extra couple of metres. Lewis awaits on the wing. Lewis dots it down. An immediate response. Gloucester Hartpury needed that, their first point of the second half of the biggest game in this club's history.
No try.
Oh, referees called that back, I think, Claire. No try.
No try. Lost forward scrum. Lost forward the breakdown.
And how about that for drama?
Yeah, you can hear from the crowd, they are not happy, but a better play from Gloucester in their approach. You know, speed of ball like you touched on from Zoe Aldcroft, but ultimately as it gets to that final pass, I think he's saying it's a forward pass or...
Lost forward at the base, the last breakdown.
Oh, there we go, lost forward at the place. You see here, looking at... I'm not sure what... I don't see that. I mean, this angle might be a better angle. It's a great carry from Emma Singh, really, really strong there. Just at that last instant, isn't it? That just loses control of the ball.
Big exit needed here from Bears. You can see Wills waiting behind the scrum. Snowstorm just to the right of it. It's not a big dead ball area here at Kingsholm. There's very little slack to work with. But then there's very little slack in knockout rugby, full stop. Marston picks and goes by herself. Lewis brings her down, furious to not have been awarded that try. 2 points, still the difference. 15 minutes left to play. Snowsill just about gets it away. 12 crucial metres bagged.
Yeah, it's back to ball in Gloucester's hand, isn't it? Great pressure. I mean, Snowsill is not getting a lot of coverage from them forwards, and if I was her, I would be going mad at those forwards. You need some kind of blocker or some kind of screen, because at the moment she is under a lot of pressure from Gloucester Hartpury's.
5. Right, just step out, thank you. Gloucester, come in we come.
Kelsey Jones has been pinpoint since those 2 early line-out losses. And that was bang on the money. Matthews to Hunt. Sarah Beckett, lovely little offload. Lund is there on a hard run support line. George dummies, dances in field, skins Bryony King, who's onto the field now wearing 20 for Bears. Hunt to Lewis, denied a moment ago, and now just inches away. Blades of grass between Gloucester Hartpury and a little bit of breathing room in this semi-final, which has suddenly exploded into life. The bull is down, and there's the try, and this time it will be awarded. Gloucester Hartpury have their third.
They have, and again with another momentum swing, isn't it? First 25 minutes of the second half was all Bristol, and then it changed, and what a carry from Sarah Beckett here. The last thing you want is a fly half, is your 8 with a 10-metre run-up, but again, it's the soft skills, it's that off-road out the back, and then here, you could hear Tatiana Hurd calling from that from up here, and it was the easiest try that Rachel Lund will score all season, wasn't it? A nice little walk-in, and again, just gives Gloucester that edge coming into, what, the last 20 minutes of this game?
Well, she's drilled 2 from the touchline already this afternoon. This to bring Singh's points tally for the season up to 104. Very sweet nudge, and I'll tell you what, she won't care about the points tally for the season because it's all about today and the fact that now the gap is 9.
Yeah, that's huge, isn't it? You asked me about it when Els Snowsill hit the post, and I wasn't convinced, but that is now a big score, isn't it? 9 points, because it means Bristol have got to score twice.
Dan Murphy liked that one, didn't he?
I'm going next.
Well, Dave Ward will have liked that. Excellent acrobatic work in the air from Amber Reid to secure that kick-off. Butchers out to Reid, quick hands, but just too quick. Wills's outstretched fingers weren't there.
No, and you know what it is? That take from Amber Reid was absolutely sublime. She's up against Zoe Allcroft as well. It was very, very good aerially. You see it here, just the ability to get in front of the jumper, you know, and that is so crucial when you're going for a high ball. You've got to get past that jumper. If she goes in behind it, that's an easy catch for Zoe Allcroft. She almost picks her pocket. And then from the ball into touch, it's probably as a 12 where you just want your forward just to give you it early. Don't carry, don't fix, just give her the ball so she can put Deborah Wills away.
Wait till I say bye.
Reid's one of a handful of world-class bears to have just put pen to paper and signed an extension for next year. Butchers, Bevan, Burns, Davies, all of these internationals coming back. You wouldn't put it past them to make it 3 semi-finals on the spin. But how about a spot in the final? There's 10 minutes to decide which way this one finishes. Ruckman.
Let's go.
He's in such a purple patch, the winger. But in off her wing this time. Running into heavy traffic in the midfield, as is Alex Matthews. Aldcroft goes again.
Okay.
George found herself with a bit of space, launches a spiral.
What a great kick that is. Literally as a fly half, I'm standing here clapping her. It's just really smart when you're ahead. Just give them the ball, you know. We've just had a stat now here that Alex Matthews has made 26 tackles for Gloucester alone, which is absolutely huge. And this is what she will love to see. Her fly half sitting in a corner, pinging the ball 40 metres forward so she can run and go and compete at the line out. It is smart tactical awareness from Claky George.
Somehow Bears regather that one, and it's Marston who has it now. Thunderous as ever, ball in hand. Butchers. Lewis flies up to meet her. They've been ravenous defensively, Gloucester Hartpury today. No breathing room whatsoever for Bears. In the week, Lynn used the word suffocate when he described what their tactics would be today. Well, it's safe to say it's been a claustrophobic afternoon at points for Bristol, but that by Snowsill. Back to George, anything you can do.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It is, isn't it? Battle of the Welsh fly halves that we've got in front of us, and she's saying, well, if you can do that, I can do that as well.
End of that line.
It is a lovely head-to-head. The young 23-year-old who's the heir apparent to that jersey. Elle Snowsill, who's been to 4 Rugby World Cups.
Yeah, I mean, if we talk about the fly halves, but also if we look at the stat at the moment, top performers, Matthews, Muir, Hunt, double figures of tackles, and you just the work rate. Alex Matthews, 26, that is absolutely phenomenal, because it's not just that she's doing, she's carrying as well. She's fighting at the breakdown. Amazing shift from Alex Matthews.
She also went off with a dead leg last week against Exeter in round 18 and was a bit of a doubt ahead of this week, so clearly that's been put to bed.
Yeah, and she's such a quality player, you know, probably someone who goes under the radar and just gets on, but when she's on her form, this is Alex Matthews at her best. She's just a workhorse and really does put in a big shift.
Okay, here's your mark.
She oozes class, Alex Matthews. 27 tackles now for the blind side. The finish line is in sight, Alex. There's an ice bath waiting for you in 8 minutes' time. You can just hang on. It's Bears is put in though.
Bind!
All their options to the open side. Wills lurks behind the scrum. A tiring scrum, you suspect, because not all that many changes have been made. Neither coach reaching deep into their subs bench.
Use the ball, please.
Burgess told to use it. Flat line from Murray, but Hurd was not messing around defensively. Now Wills pops the ball backwards, but it's just too far behind its intended recipient, and Hunt bashes it away. Out on the full.
Yeah, I mean, it's the right idea, isn't it, from Natasha Hunt. You can see her hands on her heads there, really disappointed with it. There was nobody in the backfield for Bristol because they'd carried, you see Deborah Willis here, just puts it behind Ellie Lovey-Bond, and again, as we can see on this angle, I mean, there's a lot of space for Mo Hunt to hit, so she'll be really, really disappointed with that.
Thank you. Zoe, let me redeal with it, please.
She's a perfectionist, as the very best often are.
Okay, let's go.
Here comes Davies. It's messy, but it gets the job done. Another flying hit from Lewis, who has gone again and again this afternoon. You can just about hear the beepers of Bristol reversing, going nowhere quickly. Ball's turned over to a Pelosi with her first carry of the afternoon, and to no one's surprise, it's one that takes a couple of blue shirts with it. Just knocked forwards by Hurds. The first foot she's put wrong in an otherwise impressive afternoon.
Yeah, and I wonder if fatigue is starting to play a point for these girls now. I know, like we say, the sun's gone down, but it is still a warm day. So I think, you know, great carry from Tuilapu. We haven't seen a lot of her today, have we? But again, that connection of Gloucester Hartpury, that Clecky George, that Tatiana Hurd, trying to expose that space in the wide channels that Bristol are giving them.
22 handling errors in the space of 75 minutes. Numbers which will have to improve ahead of the big dance in a fortnight's time, because 11 handling errors against Saracens or against Exeter, that's going to be a tough day in the office.
Yeah, and I think Bristol, when they look back on this game, if they don't come back to win it, will probably be disappointed that they didn't capitalise more on those errors.
Well, somehow, from that melee, Renita Marston emerges with it, and now it's with Natasha Hunt. It's going to be a foot race. She's just about tackled. Brilliant ankle tap from Lucy Burgess. It was scrum half against scrum half. And somehow, Bristol Bears come up with a mammoth turnover, and of course it's Amber Reid.
Oh, what a chase down that was from Lucy Burgess. She gained and gained on Mo, and then she was brave. I thought she'd gone a little bit early, but it's the counter ruck, isn't it, after this? So Rowena Marsden does a fantastic job. That scrum is coming back over ahead. Mo Hunt's done this all season to many of A, picks their pocket, gets in that passing channel between where your 9 should be. But what a tackle that is. Bravery at its best, and then it's this next moment, isn't it? The chase back from Amber Reid to make sure Mo Hunt doesn't get back up, and then they absolutely pile in. There is nothing worse than when you look up and you realise 2 opposition are going to come right through that space, and again, keeps Bristol in this game for this last 5 minutes.
Well, she won't mind my saying so. Lucy Burgess has only got little legs. She's 5'2", but she's played on the wing and at fullback for Bears this year, and she has got pace to burn.
She has, but that is such a hard tackle to make. You've got to be so brave, because you know you've got to go. You risk getting an ankle or anything to the face, and that is a really, really good tackle by her.
And another fine clearance kick from Bristol. 2 changes being made now. On wearing 16 for the Cherry and Whites is Neve Jones. An absolutely ballistic back rower. She's wearing 16, but she's replacing Alex Matthews. Plays on the flank a lot, does the Irish international. And on as well, Grace White for Bristol Bears. Coming into play on the wing. She's just 19 years old. She's got such a bright future, the England under-20 athlete. Burn. Carrying hard into the final 5 minutes of the match. Quick hands, width to width. Wills has it. Lovey-Bond with the clear out, teaming up with Murray.
There on tackles, mate.
Barwick, another youthful talent of Bears, is the next to have a go. And the line speed from Beckett. You could see Byrne looking for options around her, seeking to offload that one. But no room at the end, not with the number 8 breathing down her neck. Was a clash of 2 women with World Cup medals in their sock drawers. Amber Reid bumps off Natasha Hunt.
Okay, tackle, release now, Red, thank you.
Bristol keep hold of it. 7 phases and counting. Barwick takes the direct route. Loaded ones. Next to Adakari. Snowsill, flat pass, knocked on by Pearce. Could that be the moment?
Yeah, I think it could be. You know, we know Bristol had to score twice. Ultimately, the clock is kind of against them now, and that was a real big opportunity there for Gwenny Pires to make a line break. Big space in front of her, and I think it was probably just one of those moments where she's looked up.
Time's off, plays down.
Well, while we've got a little bit of break in play, looks like a bit of cramp to Bethany Lewis. Katie, there have been stunning performances right across the park, but if you had to narrow it down, who would be your player of the match?
Yeah, I mean, notable mentions have got to go to Sarah Beckett. Started the game phenomenally. I thought Claky George has managed Gloucester around the field brilliantly, but it's this lady on your screen, Alex Matthews. She's 28 tackles at this level is phenomenal, as well as 8 carries, 20-odd metres May. She's been the heartbeat, and at times have kept Gloucester Hartpury in this game when Bristol Bears came back in that second half.
You could say she's put the heart in Hartpury this afternoon.
Okay, water off.
And nursing an injury concern too. Sean Lim will be delighted she came through those fitness tests, because you would not want to be without her.
No, you wouldn't, and I think you've just got to look at that. 28 tackles. I think Maud Muir is closest to her with a 20, which again is phenomenal for a front row, but it's the unseen work that somebody like Alex Matthews does, you know, the graft, the dogged bit that you need from your number 6. And for me, I think she did that in spades today. And like I say, as a fly half, I was very, very close to giving it to Claky George, but that is a great shift, like I say, from somebody who's carrying a bit of a niggle.
Well, she's played it hard for 77 minutes, but if things go to script now, she's got a fortnight to rest up before the biggest game she'll ever have played in club colours.
Are you happy? Thank you.
Changes really are being made now. Maya Learned has just come onto the field, whose mum has flown all the way across an ocean to be here today. Mrs. Learned is in the stands, watching her daughter play for the first time in over 3 years. What a moment. The scenes at full time here at Kingsholm are going to be pretty special. Just a reminder, Gloucester Hartpury have never been in the final of the Premier 15s. They finished top this season with a near faultless campaign. And they've just kept making history. Hunt. Now to George. Hurd puts her head down, but instead, cute little pass to pick out Lund, who scored that decisive try just a few minutes ago. Monaghan, known as Sammy Bill because she's such a good offloader, but that time it was all about heft and hard work. Singh, scampering feet, but read well by Wills and Murray, who combined to bring her down. There's an advantage for Gloucester Hartpury. They have another bite of the cherry, and it's a risk-free one too. Tuipulotu. A woman possessed. Singh bounces into Murray. Again, it takes a trio of blue jerseys to bring her down. She's so powerful despite her slender frame. Now we're seeing patience from the Gloucester Hartpury side, playing Bristol at their own game. The ball rolls forward at the breakdown, but will come back for the penalty. On the 5.
I think Gloucester Hartpury have definitely finished in a way they'll be happy going into the final. I think it's probably game is done for Bristol now. You know, they're starting to build phases. Errors have kind of reduced a little bit, and they're starting maybe to play at a pace that's more comfortable to them as well. You know, Mohun's still trying to ramp that tempo, but people are just doing their jobs. Maud Muir, Emma Singh still really working hard 79 minutes into this game.
Scrum calls.
Well, if the driving line out is Bristol Bears' party trick, this is one of Gloucester Hartpury's. No side scores more tries off the back of a scrum, and even though it's not always clicks for them today, they'll have a lot of fun launching something off this, knowing that the game is there. Well, you can just hear the reception that Kelsey Jones, Ellie Rugman, Maud Muir and of course Mo Hunt are getting leaving the field. Their afternoon's work is done. A standing ovation for four of Kingsholm's finest. Bianca Blackburn will feed this scrum, the final throw of the dice. Penalty goes to Gloucester Hartpury. Well, they tap it, the ball goes dead, and the latest chapter in Gloucester Hartpury's record-shattering season is written. They are into the Premier 15s final for the very first time. Just look what it means to them, knowing that they will be back here in a fortnight for the biggest day in their club's history. As Mo Hunt said at the start of this year, this season has taken her to the lowest of lows. They're now on the cusp of the highest of highs. Casey, what will this mean to this side?
It's huge. I mean, it is huge for this side, like you say, from where they've come to. I think they finished 7th last season to now finish top, and I think sometimes that's the most pressurised position. The teams that finish top, can you get through the semi? I think the semis are the biggest games, because once you're in a final, you're in a final. And for us, for the game, it was really, really important that Gloucester were here. We know we're coming back here for the final now. They can build on this crowd, but I mean, all testament to Bristol. What a fight! That 25 minutes in the second half, where I don't think anybody could call where this game was going, and then that kind of third try from Gloucester just took the game away. But again, I mean, what Dave Ward is doing down there in the southwest is brilliant, but well done Gloucester, they deserve that win today.
They absolutely did, and you were right, they were made to work for it. The game on a knife edge at points. We will see Bears back at this stage in the not too distant future, of that I have no doubt. But for now, everything is about the cherry and whites. They are 80 minutes away from conquering English rugby. More analysis to come, but it's full time in our first semi-final, and Gloucester Hartpury have done it 21 points to 12.